I'm a genius. Yeah, I'm a genius, baby. I solved the age-old mystery of how to outperform the S&P 500. Yes, I did. Welcome back to Strongman Personal Finance. My name is Christopher Belly. I'm a certified CPA accountant. I'm a long-term boglehead investor. I'm author of the book Stop Being a Broke Loser. It's on Amazon. Go buy it. I need those profits, baby. And I just discovered a foolproof, almost 100% guaranteed way to outperform the S&P 500 index. And amazingly, I have never ever seen anybody actually tell me how to outperform the S&P 500. It's a mystery. How do you do it? I mean, you look at the performance of fund managers over time, they massively underperform the S&P 500. Let's go look, as a matter of fact. How bad have these freaking doofuses done? So, according to Jens Global, Jens my shins, 80% of US fund managers underperform the S&P 500 over 5 years. That's just 5 years. What about 10 years, 15 years, 20 years? And look at this. Percentage of global equity managers underperforming the global index. Oh, you mean VT? So, a global index after 15 years, 81% of fund managers have underperformed. These are the Wall Street professionals. They got their CFAs, their financial advisors. They're financial advisors. They know all their stuff. They do this full time. They have analysts. They make a lot of money. It's crazy. And yet somehow they underperform the index. And it's even worse in the United States. 80%. That's garbage. Well, I was sitting there. I was thinking real hard. Ladies and gentlemen, I was thinking so freaking hard. I was like, how do I beat the index? Because nothing would make me happier than beating the index. And I went ahead and had some shots. I went ahead and did some. No, I'm just kidding. I don't smoke. And after years and years of contemplation, I have the solution. Are you ready for this? This is going to blow your mind. And I even prepared an Excel spreadsheet for you. That's pretty freaking cool, isn't it? Let's go look at what I did because I'm a freaking genius. So, what are we looking at here? Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is the almost bulletproof way to outperform the S&P 500 with no freaking work. None whatsoever. So, what did I make here? Well, let's look at the categories. I have category or column 1, fund. Column 2, B, initial investment. Column C, annual rate of return. Column D, periods. I had my period. Periods in years. E, ending balance. And CAGR. Column F, compounded annual growth rate. So I said, you know what I could do? I'm going to compare two portfolios and show you this brilliant strategy. And you will outperform the index if you do this correctly. And you don't have to do any work or any thought. And you could be better than 80% of US fund managers. Isn't that freaking sad? This literally is probably your best shot at outperforming the index. And you have a good chance of doing it if you pick the right stock. And you're going to put to shame 80% of fund managers. So I have two investment funds here. Okay. You see in column A, I have S&P 500 by itself. And then I have this big black line. I don't want to hear the jokes. And then I have the second portfolio. Now I have La Tesla here as a joke, but this could be any stock. So portfolio 1 is S&P 500. Portfolio 2 is S&P 500 plus one stock. Just one stock. Now let's look at the math here. So both portfolios start with an initial investment of $5,000. And historically, the rate of return of the S&P 500, it probably won't be this going into the future, is 10%. And we're going to do it over 30 years. Now, the first portfolio is pure S&P 500. That's the index, right? That's what we're trying to outperform. Well, I said, okay, what if I mirror the index and then buy a small position in another company that I think could potentially beat the index over 30 years? And if you look and do all your research, you probably have a 50-50 shot of picking a company that's going to do better than the index as a whole. There's a lot of research that goes into it, but you have a pretty good shot. So what I said was S&P 500 by itself, the first index, I'm going to put 5 grand. The second investment, I'm going to put 99% S&P 500 and 1% individual stock. Now let's see what happens. In the first category, just the S&P 500, you get a 10% compounded annual rate of return over 30 years. That $5,000 becomes $87,247 in nominal dollars. Let's look at the second portfolio. So the S&P 500, 99% of the portfolio, gives me a 10% rate of return, and I get $86,374. Pretty close, right? However, I picked one stock. I bought it and held it for 30 years with $50, and it got a 15% rate of return. I outperformed the index, and that gives me $3,310. So look at the differences in yellow here. If you do the first portfolio, you have $87,000, and tickle me pink, you have a 10% compounded annual growth rate. You look at the second portfolio, you actually have a 10.1% compounded annual growth rate. Tell me the flaw in this strategy. If you want to find one strategy to actually outperform the index, how is there a better strategy than this? Because you're maximizing your chances of beating the index by mirroring the index and then buying one small position that you think will outperform. It's freaking genius. Now, is this going to give you massive wealth and, make you a multi-billionaire like Jeremy's going to be? No, it's not. But will you beat the index and 80% of fund managers and even potentially Warren Buffett going into the future? Yeah, you actually will. And I bet you over 30 years, it's more than 80% of fund managers. I bet you it's 95%. That's all you got to freaking do. It's as simple as that. Now, let's say we put 5% of our portfolio. Let's see, that times 0.95. This is my strategy right here. And then we do, obviously, this minus this. Oops. This minus this. Look at the freaking difference there. If you put 5% of your portfolio in one individual stock, you would outperform the index by a compounded annual growth rate of 0.48% per year. That's the difference between $87,000 and $99,000. Pretty freaking crazy, huh? Not a bad deal. That's basically what I'm doing with La Baba. Do I think Baba stock will be around in 30? I'm not saying this is not a Baba shill video, but do I think Baba will potentially be around in 30 years? Yeah, probably. Do I think it has a good chance of outperforming the S&P 500? Yeah. Am I going to have way more freaking money potentially at retirement? Yeah. 99 versus 87? I'll take the 99 all day. And I will outperform 80% plus of fund managers. I'll probably even beat Warren Buffett. You jealous, bro? It's as simple as that. So let me see the comments and see all your snide remarks. But this is, if you just do 1% in one stock, I mean, you're going to outperform as long as you get it right. It's as simple as that. So let's go and see. What do y'all think about that, you jelly? Oh, yeah, just buy stocks that have revenue by revenue. That's it. That's the answer. Joseph Carlson sold 15K of Vici. He watched my video and saw how tax inefficient it was. Graham hired a monkey, and monkey's picks outperformed the market, and so did his boxes, partners, goldfish. Well, I guess that's another way you could buy a monkey and have him throw darts at the wall. But this is a pretty foolproof strategy. Now, you may be wrong. You may pick the wrong stock. But even if you do, you're not going to get screwed. But if you pick one right stock, that's a massive difference in your retirement money. 99,000 versus 87,000. That's huge. Huge. You could buy the S&P and sell far out of the money covered calls. Yeah, but you're not going to get much income. And then there's always the chance that the S&P goes crazy and you get exercised. There's always that chance. That's the problem with the selling the covered call thing is the market can go freaking crazy. You never know. Strongman using Excel, bullish on Microsoft. I actually haven't used Excel that much. You think it's a tax accountant, I would, but I actually haven't, shockingly. You barely outperformed, but did I beat the index? Did 80% of the fund managers beat the index? No, I beat the index. You guys are so jealous of my genius strat. I should get a Nobel Prize. I really should. Like, have you thought of a more genius way to beat the index? Don't you think the U.S. will outperform the world indices? No, not going into the future. I think Bob is primed for a huge run. I do. I don't know when it's going to happen, but if you're going to gamble on something that may beat the S&P in 30 years, buying Bob at this valuation, it's a good bet. And you could have way more money in retirement. It can be shocking. And it's only 5% of my portfolio. 99% VT, 1% La Tesla. I should sell a course. Maybe I should. Anyway, that's it. Nobody's really giving me a good reason why that strategy doesn't work. And I'm better than 80% of fund managers with CFAs and, oh, yes, I went to Wharton School of Business. Yes, I have a double PhD in finance and basket weaving. When you said 0.14% with Tesla, you barely beat the compounded rate is a little bit less, but over time, that additional compounding results in huge differences. You see when I did the 5%, that's a huge difference. Like, that's massive difference. You could have way more money in retirement. They can combine the dip. Is Copenhagen a good one? Don't start dip. Don't do it. All right, that's it. You guys are jealous. Contact the Nobel Prize Committee in economics and let them know. And I'll talk to you later. Cheers.